What's up everybody, Brian here. Thank you for joining me today. This is the weekly hatchling report. Alright, so I've got some absolutely awesome geckos to show off as always, but before we get into that, I wanted to show you these guys. Now I'm going to try and show you these without losing them, which is going to be hard because these are mourning geckos, but these aren't just normal mourning geckos, these are Hawaiian type, or some people call them type C mourning geckos, and that means they have a really unique pattern. Check them out. Super cool looking. I absolutely love the way these look. Now they're way more bold and distinctive than your normal mourning geckos with those big black splotches going down the back. As you can see here, I've got one adult female. She is full grown, and then there's also one small juvenile in there. I just got 8 of these juveniles shipped in. I now have about 15 of this Hawaiian type really bold pattern mourning gecko. I know I've talked a lot about mourning geckos in some of my other videos, and you guys know I have a huge colony of like 50 breeding mourning geckos. It's enormous. I love it. They're some of my favorite reptiles, and now I'm starting a second colony of just this type. It's gonna take me a while, but I really do want to grow up and have a big colony of this other Hawaiian type bold expression mourning gecko. So I got a bunch of them shipped in. I've been shopping for like 8 months and buying every single one I can find, which has only been about 8 of them in 8 months. You don't see them very often. They're way more rare than normal mourning geckos. So I'm glad that I've now got a decent sized collection. I only have the one big adult right now, but I've got a few of her offspring, and I've also got the 8 juveniles about this size that I've gotten shipped in. So in about a year from now, I'm gonna have 15 breeding females, and 7-8 months from now, I'll have 15 breeding females, and then eventually that'll jump up even more as their offspring start to grow. So if you would like some of these guys, don't forget to check out my website in about 2 years when I'll start selling them regularly. It's mostly a passion project for me. I just love them, but eventually I will have some up for sale. If you'd like normal mourning geckos, I do have those for sale on my website fairly regularly now that my big colony has started producing regularly. Well, I am gonna go put those guys away so I don't lose them, because you guys know my track record with losing mourning geckos. In fact, just earlier this week, I had another one get out while I was trying to move some that I was growing up, and they were getting bigger. I was moving them into another cage, and well, one got away from me. So if you see a mourning gecko running around behind me, point it out so I can find it, because I got one loose down here somewhere. I'm sure I'll find them eventually. I usually do, but they're super hard to keep track of, so I'm not gonna mess with them anymore. Let's get into this week's hatchlings or grow outs in the weekly hatchling report. We're gonna kick it right off with this awesome super stripe. This one is dark, super dark, with those bright pins, that perfect lateral stripe, that perfect pinning, the stripe down the tail, and the completely black empty dorsal. I am in love. This is what I strive for with my empty back super stripe project. This kid is amazing. I absolutely love it, and I wanted to show that one off. I really like the white kneecap, like his shin guards right there. So cool looking. All right, let's move on to the next gecko. Next up, I've got an ink spot line. Just a cool ink spot super Dalmatian. I like this one a lot. I really kind of like these when they have the big ink spots, and it also has all that messy tiger pattern. I don't know, I think it's a mood thing, because sometimes I see ones that have almost no pattern and I'm like, wow, that's the coolest version. And then sometimes I see these that have a real busy pattern and I'm like, that's so awesome looking. I think maybe I just like geckos, but it depends on my mood. I like them all. I really today am thinking this one is really nice, so I picked it out to show to you guys. Let's move to the next one for today. Beautiful extreme Harlequin. This guy has that drippy dorsal trait. You can see those white spots dripping down off the dorsal, and then of course those white spots on the back leg are another good marker for that trait. High pattern, high white, just beautiful light lavender base color extreme Harlequin. I really like this guy. I like those light colored eyes too, when they get those super light, almost blue eyes. Just a beautiful gecko. I'm really happy with how my extreme Harley tricolor projects are coming along. It's really started to grow and fill out and kind of build into a thing that I feel like can hold its own now. So I'm super excited for the next few years of that. Now that I feel like it's a good established project, it's just gonna get better and better. Next up, I've got another one from my empty back line, my Super Stripe project. This one I really like because of the like zigzaggy lateral striping and also the tricolor effect. So as you can see, this guy just shed right before this, so he's got little pieces of shed still stuck to his head. That is pretty common. If you take photos with a flash, you see that a lot, because if there's any tiny bit of shed skin stuck to him, it reflects the light from the flash, so you always see it like that. So that's why you sometimes see that in photos if you're looking at geckos. But the main thing I want to focus on is like the tricolor aspect of this guy, how he's got the black base color, the orange markings underneath, and then the white laterals and the white pins. Super cool. The structure on this guy is great too. You can see that white head, real long crest. Really like this guy. Interesting looking gecko. He'll be a fun one to watch grow up. Okay, I got two more to show you. This next one is a killer axanthic. Super black, white on the sides, which is really rare to see with axanthics. Sometimes you'll see white tips on the crests, on the dorsal, as you see on this one, but the white markings on the side are even more rare unless you get into like axanthic lily whites, which of course those are a whole nother level up. But just for a plain axanthic, this is an exceptional example. Beautiful animal. Absolutely love that dark base color, and especially those white pattern on the sides. I really want to experiment with like white spot drippy dorsal axanthics. I think is one way we're going to get more white pattern on them. Of course, axanthic lily whites, I'm really trying to focus on high patterned lily white axanthics this year to boost the amount of white we're seeing on some of these geckos, as well as darker base colors. It's going to be a lot of fun. I also think a really light base color lily white axanthic would be cool, because it would almost be a pure white gecko. There's a lot of options here that of course are going to be a ton of fun to experiment with over the next several years, and this is just one arm of it right here. Okay, I got one more gecko to show you guys. Check out this lily white. Now admittedly it's not my best photo because it was too bright. The photo kind of got blown out a little bit, but check this out. This is one of my purest white lily whites. It's kind of interesting because you can see his head is actually exposed pretty well, and then as he fades back and kind of goes out of focus, he caught a little too much of my flash, so he's a little bit washed out. But even with that, one of my brightest white lily whites. Now in a previous video I talked about a lily white that had an orange streak down his back and how that was like neon orange, tangerine colored when it hatched, and it slowly faded out as he grew. This is like the exact opposite. This one was paper white from day one, pure white, and that pattern is really starting to expand and grow. I kind of like his one red spot right there on his side. Real interesting looking. Just a gorgeous gecko. Almost looks like angelic, like it glows. This thing could just float away somehow. It's beautiful. Had to show that one off to you guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it as always. I don't know if you can see, my day geckos are running like crazy in here right now. They must be, I gave them some fruit flies earlier. Maybe they're hunting. They're going nuts. They're having a good time with us. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. As always, I am Brian with Altitude Exotics. Don't forget altitudeexotics.com. New geckos for sale every Friday night. Give me a follow on Facebook and Instagram. I'm always showing off more geckos there. And of course, gecko videos several times a week. Subscribe here on YouTube. I appreciate it, guys. As always, be safe, be kind to each other. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.